Hi everyone, welcome back to Beef Reacts, and today we're going to be watching another death battle. It's been a while since I've done one. We're doing Dio versus Alucard from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and it's going to be versing Hellsing. I haven't seen either one of those shows, so this is going to be very informative to me, I guess. Yeah, if you guys don't mind, just like, comment, subscribe, really helps me out, and let's just jump into it and see what happens. Oh, and side note. I decided to skip the opening ad read, and I think I'm going to skip the midpoint ad read. Hope that's okay with everyone. If not, just let me know in the comments. Thank you.
Dio Brando, everlasting adversary of the Joestar bloodline.
Alucard, undying enforcer of the Hellsing organization.
Vampires, the spawn of nightmares formed from the blackest pits of man's demented imagination.
Anime, basically the same thing. What do you...
I mean, he's not wrong. It is basically the same thing. You watch enough anime, you see some depraved stuff.
Demented imagination.
Anime, basically the same thing. What do you get when you combine them? Two of the meanest monsters out there. He's Wiz and I'm Boomstick.
And it's our job to analyze their weapons, armor, and skills to find out who would win a death battle.
When it didn't have the animation, I don't know how to explain it. It's not even like it's bad. It's one of those things where, I remember when they did like Kratos versus Spawn, and like how like dope that was to see. Yeah.
Imagine, if you can, someone so wicked that the sheer magnitude of their unholy dickishness literally destroyed the universe.
You might think they'd have to be no less than the devil himself. But it was him, Dio.
Born a penniless.
Now I do know that that meme. So his full name's Dio Brando. Great name. He's 6'5". Damn. 231 pounds. Damn. 123. Damn. Stone Mask Vampire. He has the world as a stand. Arch enemy of the Joestar family. Father of Giorno, Ungalo, Riki, and Donatello. Was down too long in the Midnight Sea.
Street rat with a cunning mind in the slums of Victorian London, Dio was humiliated by his poverty and abused by his alcoholic father.
His bitter resentment and small dick energy would lead to a lifelong desire for ultimate power and immortality to reach a place over heaven.
And he'd get his chance to act when he was adopted into the wealthy Joestar family. Dio planned to kill his new father, George Joestar, and take his fortune for himself. Only one thing stood in his way, his new brother, Jonathan Joestar, aka JoJo.
Dio tried to go all alpha wolf on JoJo by engaging in such classic sibling.
The question is that, like, this is a show, like, Dio just kind of, it's like, why not just get yourself written into the inheritance, or does that take too long? Like, I don't get why. He was adopted by this family, so they want him. So why wouldn't he just wait?
Pranks as beating him up, molesting his girlfriend, and setting his dog on fire. Jesus! You give that creepy dog murderer what for, JoJo?
But after years of emotional manipulation, Dio's twisted assassination plot was foiled by his righteous stepbrother.
With help from the interfering Speedwagon, all seemed lost until Dio pulled out his Plan B, an ancient stone.
Is the Joestar family that rich, or like why not stay as a Joestar, be married into a richer family because they have connections? Like, I feel like there's a lot of plans that Dio could have done here, but he's just too vindictive and dumb to do them.
Stone mask that turned him into a vampire. That's just bizarre.
Okay, so he's not technically a vampire like, say, Dracula. Instead of turning you into an unholy demon, the stone mask eliminates your body's natural limitations,
making him way stronger, faster, and tougher than any human. He can hear a heartbeat through the ground, fly through the air, and hypnotize you with just a glance.
So, like, if it stops you from having your limitations, does it also stop you from, like, experiencing it? Because, like, think about it this way. The body can theoretically lift a car. I've seen strong men lift over 1,000 pounds, which is the human limit. So it's like, yeah, you could lift 2,000, 3,000 pounds, but, like, your bones still get crushed. Like, it doesn't say that it makes you indestructible. It just lets you surpass the human limit.
it gets weirder. Dio can create mind-controlling flesh buds from his hair.
Sorry for keeping pausing. Super strength, speed, durability, enhanced senses, blood sucking, regeneration, vaporization, freezing technique, space ripper, stinging eyes, flesh buds, hypnosis, and flesh
follicles. Vaporize the moisture in his body to freeze anything he touches, and fire beams of pressurized fluids that can split the sky.
Pressurized fluids? Oh, sometimes it's too easy, Wiz. Even more insane is Dio's healing factor. He's been burnt alive, impaled through the head, bisected, decapitated, lost limbs, filled with bullets, and had a huge hole punched in his chest not once, not twice, but 3 times.
Another similar vampire, Straight, survived being blown to pieces and just pulled himself back together.
All Dio needs is some blood to speed up the process.
Is he immortal? Can he just... Like, at that point, you have all the power, you have all the ability. Like, once he becomes a vampire, I'm gonna be honest with you, his plan doesn't make sense. Like, just simply leave. Make your own fortune. You can live forever.
So he is basically a vampire. Though I guess the fangs are just for decoration because he sucks blood through his fingers. Ugh.
Dio used his powers to raise a zombie army to conquer the world and feed a baby to its own mother. Just for kicks.
We've had a lot of real pieces of shit on this show, Wiz, but I'm starting to think Dio takes the cake. Luckily, his plans were foiled again by his old frenemy JoJo, who beat Dio's ass with a martial art that uses the power of the sun. Hamon.
Because, should Dio's vampire body be subjected to sunlight, he will instantly disintegrate.
So, what did Dio do? Well, he cut off his own head, killed Jonathan on his wedding night, and attached his head to JoJo's body. Wow, cake taken for sure.
After a brief century in a coffin at the bottom of the ocean, Dio resurfaced in Egypt and tried...
While Dio has not used all his vampire powers since acquiring Jonathan's body, there's no evidence to suggest he can't use them anymore, especially after drinking Joseph's blood. So you have Jonathan Joestar and Joseph Joestar. Is Joseph the younger one or the older one? I'm still...
tried once again to take over the world. His ultimate goal was to create a world where everyone knew their own fate and could make peace with the inevitable tragedies life had in store. In Dio's mind, heaven.
And he'd make it happen no matter how many breads he'd have to eat.
After being struck by a mystical arrow, sure, why not, Dio gained a stand, the embodiment of a user's life force. Since they're made of psychic energy, stands can only be seen by stand users, and can only be hurt by other stands. Quite the obstacle for any opponent lacking similar abilities.
Ow! Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand! I call it 99 bottles!
I'm not gonna lie, that's a pretty dope name for a stand. I don't know what stands are, but that's kind of dope. So they're just life force, okay.
Hey, look, Wiz, I got a stand! I call it 99 bottles! Oh, shit! Don't worry, Wiz. I'll change you back with your transmog... Ooh, look, a giant beer! Ah.
As befits a god among men,
I'm sorry, but Boomstick always makes me laugh just for how silly it is.
Dio received one of the most powerful stands in history, the world, with its ability to stop time.
Time?
He can stop fucking time?
Huh? Thanks for the... Ow!
That means he's faster than light!
Well, not only does his time stop get longer with each...
Physical range, 10 meters, invisible to non-stand users, selective intangibility, overwhelming strength and team, time stop lasts 11 seconds, increases with each use and thought activated. Excuse me.
Each use, he can spam it as much as he likes. He's a massive troll.
The world is absurdly strong and fast, able to match the stand Star Platinum, which belongs to Jonathan's great-great-grandson, Jotaro Kujo. He technically inherited it from Dio through Jonathan's body and bloodline, making Star Platinum and the world the same stand.
And both are two...
What? Isn't Jotaro like the one that's everyone's favorite or something? I thought it was. Wow, my face looks trippy on
Two of the strongest stands.
The time stop's length maxed out 11 seconds upon Dio's death and was increasing by 2 seconds each time he used it after fully merging with Jonathan's body.
It's out there, just as strong as Stone Free, which can punch meteors that were pulled to Earth in seconds.
By measuring the distance the meteors are from Earth, we can estimate they were moving at over 11 million meters per second. Factoring in their mass, they'd each have a kinetic energy of 441 kilotons of TNT.
Not that
I don't know how they do this math, but it's okay. All three stands possess a strength rating of A, making them at least equal to each other through star platinum, and thus the world has been called the world's strongest.
crazy when you can throw punches that are faster than light. No, really, Star Platinum kept up with this stand, Silver Chariot, which could cut a beam of light.
Looking at the interval Silver Chariot's sword swung relative to the light beam, it must have moved over 1,500 times the speed of light. And Dio himself has matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah, I
nothing
can't see
compared
how
to Dio's
Alucard
secret weapon,
wins
the
this if you're
greatest
saying
weapon
that
in...
Sorry, but I don't, you don't
Dio
got
himself
it.
has matched Star Platinum on his own, and taken its punches head on.
Yeah.
There are other faster than light feats in JoJo. Joseph dodging a light beam from the redstone, cars blocking a UV light beam is fired, and Silver Chariot deflecting lasers from the sun.
Yeah, but that's nothing compared to Dio's secret weapon, the greatest weapon in anime history. The
He grabbed a fucking steamroller, dude.
Steamroller!
Got it.
Turns out Dio's a hell of a chef. He can make pancakes and donuts.
Even so, despite having a massive god complex, Dio's still a careful tactician capable of exploiting an opponent's weaknesses.
Too bad he wasn't prepared for Jotaro to learn how to stop time too and murder the shit out of him. That's some hardcore karma right there. But it only makes sense that it...
Outstarted genius tactician Joseph Joestar punched Jotaro across Cairo in seconds, split a cloud formation with his laser eyes, deflected an emerald splash with his finger, tanked a ship exploding just as ahead, survived the world's destruction, devised the stand made in heaven, defeated Jonathan Joseph, oh my...
The dog murderer would die like a bitch.
But much like the machinations of great and terrible men, Dio's will was immortal. In time, his greatest follower succeeded in extinguishing the Joestar bloodline and literally remaking the universe in Dio's image, creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I guess when you're named after a rock...
So, I got this book a while ago. It's down here somewhere where, it's about making manga, and it's written by the guy who made JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, and, like, this story's wild, and dude, like, I know there's, like, 5 different parts, but, like, what the fuck is going on?
Creating that heaven he always dreamed of.
I guess when you're named after a rock star, a movie star, and, oh, that's right, God, you're pretty much bound for greatness.
You thought your first kiss would be JoJo, but it was I, Dio!
How blessed are some people whose lives have no fears, no dreads. For though the world seems full of good men, there are monsters in it.
Okay, first off, I don't know how they're gonna put Alucard in the same camp as Dio. I don't know what he could have possibly done. Like, you're telling me this dude multiple times faster than light, which I think is impossible.
But don't worry, jolly old England has it covered with the Hellsing organization.
Founded by famous vampire hunter Abraham Van Helsing and led by his descendant Integra, this secret government institution has saved the world time and again with their secret weapon.
And what better weapon to hunt vampires than with one of their very own, the no-life king, the Bird of Hermes, Alucard.
To most, his origin.
Alright, so his name is Vlad III Dracula. He's 6'3", 2 inches shorter, so he doesn't have the same reach. 185 pounds. Dude, Dio, if we're going boxing stats, he's already got it. He's 598. He's a true vampire. He's killed millions. He's the Hellsing organization's trump card, canonical to Bram Stoker's Dracula. Was a little girl during World War II. I don't know how that works. I've never seen it, but okay.
Was shrouded in mystery. But under Helsing's employ, he was molded into an elite hunter, made even more vicious by his intense hatred of his fellow vampire kind.
A hatred that he expresses with two of the gnarliest handguns you'll ever pray to your infinite god to never see in person.
Alucard's primary sidearm is the Castle, a behemoth of a handgun able to kill most undead in one shot with holy bullets that can nullify a vampire's healing factor.
The Jackal is the handgun she told you not to worry about. 16 inches long and weighing 35 pounds. Its armor-piercing, hollow-point bullets, jacketed in blessed Macedonian silver, were built to annihilate.
How do they know that? Did they say that? Do they say that in the show? Because my god, you're telling me armor-piercing bullets out of a fucking hand cannon that he's dealing with one arm?
The toughest monsters.
And after decades of clandestine experimentation, Hellsing enhanced Alucard's vampiric abilities far beyond the norm.
Alucard can walk through walls, cast illusions, levitate, and move objects with his mind. Objects like, say, an ocean of over 3 million people's blood? That'd be an energy worth half a ton of TNT.
His psychic prowess allows him to read minds, communicate telepathically, hypnotize with a glance, and see through hallucinations with his third eye.
He's not a Triclops. It's more of a sixth sense that lets him hit bullseyes from a kilometer away and even predict your movements. Kinda like the Sharon gun.
Of course, he...
Yeah, but if you stop time, that doesn't matter. Like, that... Oh, I could see through you stopping time. You're just watching him fucking kill you because you can't move faster than light, homie.
He wouldn't be a real vampire if he couldn't drink blood. The catch is, when he drinks enough blood to kill you, he literally absorbs your soul. And that right there is the source of his most fearsome ability.
You just can't kill the sumbitch!
Blood-sucking, regeneration, shape-shifting, intangibility, third eye, love beam. Okay, telepathy, telekinesis, illusions...
Shoot him into Swiss cheese, blow his ass to smithereens, turn him into a literal blood puddle? He'll just regenerate his body lickety-split. Like, we've seen some overpowered healing factors on this show before, but Alucard's is just bullshit.
While he does possess blood and organs like a regular human, Alucard's body is, in reality, composed of an ethereal, shadow-like substance that he can morph any way he wants. This allows him to shapeshift and instantly heal any wound, and each soul Alucard has consumed acts as an extra life that he can spend whenever he's fatally injured. Kind of like a video game.
And after 500 years of unlife, Alucard has consumed literally millions of souls. Ora! Yay, more beer!
Just like me.
Ora! Hellsing needed a beast as fearsome as Alucard to take on.
You stop time for 11 seconds and that's it? Like, okay, so he has millions of lives. Dio is still moving faster than fucking light.
On Millennium, aka Nazi vampires. That's like evil squared.
Like when Millennium SS Lieutenant Rip Van Winkle commandeered a British aircraft carrier as part of an invasion of London.
Alucard didn't like that very much, so he jackknifed it with an SR-71 Blackbird at Mach 3.
A fully loaded Blackbird weighs 170,000 pounds, meaning it's struck with a kinetic energy of 11 tons of TNT. That's as powerful as the US Massive Ordnance Air Blast.
AKA the mother...
Measuring the size of the explosion instead increases the yield to 50 tons of TNT. However, it's also possible Alucard did take damage and simply healed before emerging.
Of all bombs! And Al was in the middle of that and strolled out like it was nothing.
Just as impressive as intercepting Rip's magic bullets. Comparing the distance one bullet moved to the jet in the same time frame as the jet's own movement, each bullet would have to be moving at 1,500 times the speed of sound.
And Alucard caught one with his frickin' teeth. And after giving Rip's name a new meaning, he drove that aircraft carrier back to shore with...
Moving an Invincible class aircraft carrier at several knots, assuming 3, would yield a kinetic energy of over 26 megajoules or 0.006 tons of TNT. This isn't...
His mind to fight 2 separate armies at the same time. What a goddamn monster!
It goes without saying that Alucard's immense power and bloodlust needed to be controlled, so 6 restriction levels were placed on him that he can release against dangerous opponents.
Levels 6 through 2 are for wrecking your ordinary ghouls. Level 1 is for your heavy-duty vampires, and for getting this gnarly demon doggo made from his shadow essence. Baskerville!
But there exists an even greater state of power Alucard can release when he wants to end the world. Level 0.
Once activated, Level 0 releases every single soul Alucard has consumed as a sea of blood-soaked zombies. All 3 million of them.
Sure, with his souls gone, he can't.
So level 1, further enhanced physicality with Baskerville. Level 0, Tubal Cain, Alhambra, Rip Van Winkle, Wallachian Army, Ottoman Janissaries, European peasants, and 3,424,867 lives.
Can't heal as easily, and if his heart is destroyed, he'll die permanently. But the sheer numbers
And that's where he dies.
and power of this army from hell makes him virtually impossible to approach in the first place.
He's unstoppable! This guy's got to be like the king of all vampires!
Indeed, he is. Hellsing purposely kept Alucard's true identity a secret, all in the codename. Alucard backwards is
Dracula? Yeah, duh, Wiz, idiot.
over 500 years ago. The Wallachian voivode Vlad Dracula battled the Ottoman Turks for control over Eastern Europe and impaled thousands of people in the process. Hence his historical name, Vlad the Impaler.
But things didn't end up too good for him. Right before his execution, he took a big old sip of some blood from the battlefield, sacrificing his humanity in order to become an immortal creature of the night.
And that is when the legend was born. But it wasn't anything Dracula was proud of. He grew to despise his monstrous
Crushed Millennium and the Ninth Crusade, shredded Alhambra's playing cards, telekinetically moved a sea of blood, caught Rip's hypersonic warhead, survived crashing an SR-71 Blackbird tank being thrown through buildings, returned from limbo after 30 years, defeated Alhambra, Rip, Anderson, and Walter. I don't know if I'm supposed to be impressed by these or not impressed by these. All I can really tell you is that it kind of just seems like we could do better. Like, I don't know how Dio could possibly lose.
nature and saw it
Based
as
on what we're
cowardice.
being told.
The main reason he hated other vampires so much was that he really hated himself.
Oh, that's deep, Wiz. Maybe that's why he always lets his enemies rip into him like a piñata of self-loathing. His crazy OP healing factor will fix everything anyways.
Millennium would exploit this arrogance by tricking Alucard into absorbing the soul and abilities of Schrödinger, a German cat boy who controls his own quantum state. This grants him pseudo-omnipresence and immortality. He can exist everywhere and nowhere, and cannot die so long as he can recognize his own existence.
But because Al had 3 million souls kicking around inside him, Schrödi couldn't recognize himself anymore, forcing him, and thus Alucard, to fade out of existence.
So Alucard spent 30 years killing the other 3 million souls inside of him until he could return to reality and his master. He undid his own unexistence.
No matter how spoopy the threat, Alucard will show no mercy. He's just waiting for the day he meets a noble human warrior strong enough to end his unlife for good.
But should he face a fellow monster, a fool who rejected their humanity like himself, he'll let loose the dogs of war, and all hell will sing.
I'm a dog. Then you're dog food.
I'm saying it straight up. I just don't know how the hell Alucard could take it. I'm not saying he will, but before we go in, I'm telling you right now, it's probably going to be Dio. I can't see it being anyone else.
All right, the combatants are set, and we've run the data through all possibilities.
But first, if you want the same kind of confidence that lets you try to take over the world with a zombie army, first off, interesting. Secondly, try out Blue Chew.
Alright, with this, we're going to skip the ad read. I think we're good.
Oh!
I do like the pixel art on this one. The Inverse ad one didn't look as good, but this one actually looks pretty nice. These ad art looks good. Why would
You
you do that?
interrupted my dinner.
Funny, I was just thinking about having mine.
Then by all means, take a bite.
I wonder if they got Takahata 101, like the guy who voices the Bridge series or whatever, to do the voice for this.
Checkmate! How oh so very weak, dog. You thought you'd triumph, but it was I! Dio?
Oh, that animation.
It was I! Dio?
If I'm a dog, your dog poop. Huh?
I do love how they are blending the animation. Like, it does look really good.
I'm gonna enjoy hearing you scream.
What the hell are you?
A real fucking vampire.
That's a good fucking line.
Real fucking vampire.
Yeah, that's sick. But again, dude, I don't know how Dio's gonna pull through this. I mean, I don't know how Alucard's pulling through this.
You want blood, you disgusting monster? Choke on your own.
I want to rule the world! Face me, Vampire King! Bow to your new god!
The bird of Hermes is my name, eating my wings to make me tame.
Useless, useless, useless. Muda! Muda, muda! Muda, 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 muda!
Dude, it's so sick, but come on, you had to see this coming, right? Yeah. Yeah, it's the end.
Alucard pulled out all the stops, but like the bloody drink, it was in vain. Finger guns!
He may have been the king of the vampires.
Like, dude, like, it was clear. Whenever there's a character that's going faster than light, typically just based on stats, it doesn't matter how smart they are, like, the stats that Dio was putting up, like, you're just not gonna stop him. Like, it doesn't matter how many lives you have, like, you're just not gonna stop it.
Vampires in Hellsing, but Dio had everything he needed to clip the bird of Hermes' wings.
Alucard's strategy in most fights is to heal from an opponent's attacks until they get tired, then take advantage of an opening. But he couldn't do that here because Dio didn't really have any openings, and Alucard wasn't nearly as strong or as fast to compensate.
Alucard could survive crashing that jet and move 1,500 times faster.
While Dio's healing factor was inferior to Alucard's, it was still potent enough to heal from any of Alucard's attacks, especially with Alucard's blood always available.
Faster than sound. But scaling from Stone Free and Silver Chariot, the world could punch relativistic meteors and move 1,500 times faster than light. That would make Dio nearly 40,000 times stronger and 800,000 times faster than Alucard.
Hell, Alucard couldn't even see or hear
While his third eye can see through illusions, does not allow him to see invisible spirits. Alucard has never interacted with ghosts or the like, and would be unable to hurt a stand. Yeah.
the world in the first place because he's not a stand user. And since stone mask vampires from JoJo aren't weak to holy weapons like Hellsing vampires are, Al's guns were more or less dead weight.
Plus, Alucard
While the Jackal nullified Anderson's healing factor by doing more damage than he could heal from, Dio's durability and regeneration are far better than heal from the Jackal.
just had no way to get past the time stop. Even if he did somehow, Dio could just freeze him on contact.
And considering Dio has taken punches from Star Platinum, Hal would have had trouble doing damage even if he got the chance.
Dio's far greater speed and power meant that, given enough time, he could realistically kill Alucard 3 million times in quick succession. Without any viable options for attack or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would options for a
Alucard would not know that Dio is weak to sunlight and would not think to exploit that even if the fight lasted until the sun came up. Dio would simply hide until nightfall. Yeah, there's no winning. I just... Some of these just kind of seem simple.
attack or openings to exploit, Alucard's soul-based regeneration meant he would run out of lives eventually, and level 0 only sped up that process.
Sure, that army's
Despite their numbers, the vast majority of Alucard's familiars are physical human and would be unable to overcome Dio's durability, let alone his stand time stop.
nothing to scoff at, but consider the time Dio's eye beams split those huge-ass clouds.
Estimating the size of the clouds and the speed at which they moved, Dio's beams must have output an energy of over 10 megatons of TNT, enough to wipe out Alucard's army in one go, leaving him vulnerable. Just like when this other vampire, Walter, could have killed him by piercing his heart.
While Dio would not know to target Alucard's heart specifically, he wouldn't need to. His blows are powerful enough to destroy Alucard's entire body, especially in
Alucard's even admitted it himself.
Hell, Alucard's army is filled with blood. You know, that thing that Dio uses to heal? But Wiz, what about Schrodinger? With his powers, Al can't die unless he chooses to.
While Schrodinger's quantum immortality makes him impossible to kill normally, it is literally part of the story that Alucard cannot have Schrodinger's abilities and his greater array of powers at the same time, or else he'll no longer exist. We can't give him both Schrodinger and his standard powers without breaking the lore and rules of the character.
Even if we did, it doesn't really matter.
Dio's a crafty strategic fighter because a fight with Schrodinger would be a stalemate. Given enough time, he would come up with
It doesn't help him kill Dio at all, so at best it'd be a stalemate. Until Dio hypnotizes Alucard, asks him about his powers, and forces him to eject Schrody like the rest of his souls.
Shocking though it may be, Dio's overwhelming offense, impenetrable defense, and uniquely devastating abilities wore Alucard down until the No-Life King had no lives left.
Alucard got Dio-owned!
Boomstick, you tell the worst puns in the world.
That's right, and you're just gonna have to Dio with it. And hey, wait a minute, that was a pun. That's my territory! We talked about this!
The winner is Dio.
Yeah, that was always gonna happen.
In the show, we really.
I don't know why it wouldn't have happened that way. Yeah. So anyway, this was me reacting to Dio versus Alucard's death battle. Really fun to watch. Learned a lot about the characters. I'd be interested in actually watching the shows like for real. If you guys want to see that, just let me know. If you don't mind, just like, comment, subscribe, like I always say. And thank you. I post every day. Have a magical one.